Hey guys, so it's been a while since I've been in my car like this, but I decided instead of using my camera for this, I'm just going to use my phone. For those of you that are new to my channel, this was how I was doing videos for quite a bit. I just have a lot of stuff that I want to put out there, and right now with my storage on my computer, I really need to get an external hard drive. It's just been kind of a struggle, so whoa. That's why I'm doing this video on my phone. Anyways, this video I wanted to talk about what I think about ENFPs as an INFJ. So I have several ENFP friends. I know of several ENFPs. I think I've dated ENFPs before. I definitely feel like I have. I've definitely been on dates with ENFPs. So I feel like I have a pretty good, I guess, understanding in the real world of how ENFPs are. And I also know quite a bit about the cognitive functions and stuff. So hopefully if you are an ENFP, you find this interesting, or whatever personality type you are. So ENFPs are very intriguing to me. They have this eccentric quality to them that I believe has to do with their first function as extroverted intuition, NE, and their second function, introverted feeling, FI. That makes for kind of this very interesting individual. I find that ENFPs tend to want to have some type of unique thing going on about them. They don't want to be like everybody else, and it's almost to the extent where I feel like, and I'm definitely not saying that this is the truth or whatever, this is just something that I've kind of realized about these personalities, but I think with INFPs, they're a little bit more intentional about being, they really feel like they have to have something unique about them, and they're more intentional about it. I think ENFPs, although they are still intentional, I think it's just something that comes so naturally to them that doesn't matter if they're considered creative or artistic, they're going to have some type of unique quality to them. They just simply can't help it, and I think it is because of extroverted intuition, because they're seeing so many possibilities at once, and to be boxed into one certain thing is very daunting for them. Also, I find that ENFPs have a very good sense of other people. They are very good with groups in a different way than, say, an ENFJ. ENFJs lead with extroverted feeling, FE, as their first function, and then their secondary function is introverted intuition, NI. And ENFJs are really good at inspiring people in a group setting because they're just good at the collective quality of extroverted feeling. They're able to go into a room and feel all of the emotions of the other people in there at once. And not in an individual sense, they're not picking out certain people, and maybe they are, but it's a collective. It's more of a, okay, this is the feeling of this room, I'm getting this, and maybe they can kind of direct what vibes they're getting from certain people. But with ENFPs, they are very individual in their approach to group settings, even though they are very extroverted people. They have this sense about them when they're talking to someone, they're very tuned in. And yes, they can get very easily distracted as well if the conversation kind of goes on about the same subject for a period of time. They do like to mix it up. But when they're kind of tuned in with someone, they're very much focused on that person's emotions. They can go into a group and there can be all different types of emotions going on. But the ENFP will single out certain individuals I've seen this myself with ENFPs. One of my best friends is an ENFP, and she had a party a few weeks ago, and there was one of her friends that she was just extremely in tune with. And it didn't matter what the vibe was of the party around her, she just was very in tune with that individual's emotions, and it affected her. Whereas the ENFJ would be in tune with everybody's emotions, and not necessarily, again, singling out someone. They would just want the vibe to be similar. But ENFPs don't really care about that as much. They do want people to have a good time, and they want people to be excited and all of those things, but they want to have different opportunities happen, different experiences happen. I find with ENFPs, sorry, my voice is kind of cracking a little bit. Maybe I'm going through male puberty even though I'm not a male at 25. No. ENFPs, I find with ENFPs, they just want to try new things. They want to go out there and explore different places. They're all about new experiences, new places, where ENFJs are a bit like that as well, but not to the same extent. They can do the same thing. If they're around people, they can do the same thing and be fine with it. With ENFPs, they love the novelty of things. They crave it. And again, leading with extrovert intuition, that makes a lot of sense. They're looking for different opportunities, looking for different perspectives. And extrovert intuition in ENFPs has been kind of, I forget the YouTuber, but she had a very interesting video, and if I can find it, or if you know what video I'm talking about, she was talking about INFJs and ENFPs. ENFPs are considered the long-distance swimmer, whereas INFJs are the deep divers, and that's what my personality is. And we both lead with intuition, but ENFPs lead with extrovert intuition, which is, again, looking for different possibilities. They're not trying to go so deep with necessarily each of those possibilities. They want to see all of those possibilities and then come back to them if they're intriguing enough for them. And I do find that because of this, ENFPs often struggle with feeling like a jack of all trades, but a master at none. They're very, very, very good at things. Very intelligent people for the most part. Again, every single type has different levels of intelligence. And just because you are a certain personality type doesn't mean you're smart or stupid. But I do find that ENFPs do have a very high level of intelligence, at least the ones that I am aware of. And they're very good in artistic fields, especially, and psychological fields. They want to go deep into things, but again, it's from different perspectives, different possibilities. So they find that, let's say they're good at, I don't know, dancing. They may be a very excellent dancer, but they feel like they need to explore other things, so they maybe not capitalize as much on that specific area. They may want to do crochet and become very good at crochet, but then they find that kind of, they need to do something else, like they're missing out on other things, like maybe they want to get into photography or dabble in philosophy or whatever the subject is, whatever the field is. And it's very interesting in that extent. And then going into extroverted thinking, their tertiary function. I think this is something that ENFPs do struggle with. It is their third function. It's not something that is one of their biggest strengths. And oftentimes, I think how this is translated with the ENFPs, going back to the fact that I think that a lot of ENFPs have a very intellectual side to them. When you first meet an ENFP, or if you are just not as aware of this personality, you may think that ENFPs are a bit ditzy or a bit scatterbrained. I definitely see this with female ENFPs especially. And this is something that I feel like female ENFPs and ENFPs in general struggle with, is people just don't take them seriously, at least in the beginning. Because they have this very starry-eyed approach to life, they tend to be very people-oriented, very positive people. And ENFPs are also the most introverted extroverts. So they have this kind of, they will retreat in themselves in many ways and go into their heads. And this looks very different than, say, like an NI user. So like someone, or especially an NI Dom, with their primary function being introverted intuition, like an INTJ or an INFJ. Because with INTJs and INFJs, at least from my experience and my observations, I find that these types they also are going into their heads. That's where they're most naturally fit, and drinking up different intuitive insights that they're getting. But they have more of a resting bitch face to them. And this face definitely doesn't look ditzy. It looks like they're very focused on something. And again, it can be interpreted as resting bitch face or whatever you want to call that. Whereas ENFPs, leading with extroverted intuition, they have more of a, it's a bit of a different face, and I don't know how to best describe it. It almost looks like it's like an out of focused sort of face, but it's like they're focused but out of focused at the same time. And I'm not the best with adjectives, but if you guys know what I'm talking about, please let me know in the comments below. And so it's like they're searching, but also, I don't know. It's like, again, focused but out of focused. And so when people are seeing that, they may think, oh, this person's dumb or something. And that's completely not the case. And because of this, because ENFPs are often underestimated, people will assume certain things about ENFPs that are just completely off base. And again, if they have the wrong assumption that an ENFP is stupid or whatever they think about that ENFP, they're going to quickly find, if they spend some time with the ENFP, because the ENFP doesn't always show all of their cards at once. They may show different things, and this is not them, trying to be secretive, but you're gonna quickly find that ENFPs have a lot more up there than what people may often think at first. And people often find ENFPs intimidating once they figure these things out. They realize how intelligent they are and how well-rounded they are, because they're kind of this jack of all trades, master at none. And I don't think that ENFPs are necessarily not a master at things. I think they definitely can be. And I think that a lot of ENFPs are very hard on themselves because they feel like they need to jump around to different things. Now, another thing about ENFPs that is something that they struggle with is introverted sensing. At least in Myers-Briggs, this is their weakest function. And so with introverted sensing, SI, they have a problem sticking to routines and sticking to, maybe seeing the different various details of things, or even remembering certain details. And because of this, it can be very hard for ENFPs to feel like they're, adulting or succeeding at life, because again, they're coupled with this so many different perspectives, so many different interests, and then with introverted sensing as a weaker function, they find that it's hard to stick with the routine, so they're even more so unstable, at least in their minds. And again, I think ENFPs are hard on themselves because of this. But yeah, Another thing about ENFPs, I find that people are very drawn to them, going back to the social aspects of ENFPs. They have this very magnetic quality about them. And when they're in a room, it's like they light up whatever room they're in. And people will want to talk to them, and I find, especially with ENFP females, at least in a heterosexual sense, and I can't speak for maybe other situations, but from the ENFP females that I know, they find that males tend to really fall for them quickly, and also they're able to feel very understood by the ENFP. And I think this is because ENFPs truly care about people, and they're so interested in people. But the thing about ENFPs that also is a bit interesting or maybe off-putting to some people is they can be seen as a bit flaky, especially underdeveloped ENFPs. When ENFPs are developing, they can easily seem like, oh, well, okay, the novelty's worn off of this situation, so they'll want to hop around. And because of this, ENFPs have a lot of friends, but sometimes they find that their friendships don't go as deep as they would want to. But as ENFPs mature and develop themselves, they are able to find these deeper friendships. And another thing that goes into this, and I'm going to finish this video very soon. There's so many things I could talk about with ENFPs, and I'm actually surprised I haven't actually made this video until now. So hopefully you guys enjoy this. But ENFPs, they will, and I completely forgot what I was gonna say. Oh no, this is not good. Wow, I literally forgot what I was gonna say. Well, on that note, if you're an ENFP, I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I hope that you're able to get some insight, and if you don't know what your personality is, let me know in the comments below, or if you find this video helpful, let me know. And I'm pretty sure I'll figure out what I was thinking after this video, but yeah, if you enjoy this video, please give it a like, and if you want to see more videos from me, please subscribe. Thank you. Bye.